are here to wake up, wake up, wake up together.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up.
Three.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're back.
Yes,
This
we
is
are.
Cassie.
And Victoria.
And today we are talking about how to use your internal navigation system.
TM.
We're trademarking that
Trademark.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that I think we could all use a dose of right now, is learning how to tune in and be able to navigate making decisions from a grounded place. So many times, myself included, we get lost in the mind and we get lost in the pros and cons lists. How many times in your life have you made a pros and cons list to try to make a decision? And for me, it's never really given me that much clarity. There's always been a piece missing, and it's this internal navigation system, this tuning in with our higher knowing, our intuition, our knowledge that connects to the infinite knowledge that there is, and gives us a decision that may not be logically based, but is actually in our best interest.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like really tuning into yourself for the answer rather than looking outside for an answer. So learning how to come back inside of our bodies to receive that inner knowing or internal navigation system knowing that really is guiding us all of the time. Every single one of us is connected to this, whether we are conscious of it or not. And so it just takes some practice to become more acquainted with our inner knowing, and knowing that we have this intuition inside of us. And once you do, it's like, oh my goodness, it's so much more helpful than trying to use the mind to make a decision, which can be quite chaotic. I know for myself, I've like gone back and forth and put myself into quite a confused state trying to make a decision from my head. So
Yeah. It's like pros, cons, this way, that way. It's like a tug of war going on inside of here.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting.
Yes.
And there is a better way, and it's all about connecting to that inner knowing. It's huge.
And so we wanted to share with you guys how can we do this? We've been learning it ourselves, and so like everything that we're sharing these days, it's all coming from our own learning, from our own awareness. And so this has been something that's been coming on stronger for us, is being able to tap into our intuition. And so we really want to share it with you guys. And it's related actually to the nervous system and putting our bodies into a relaxed state. So when we're trying to make a decision from our minds, we're often in more of a stress state, because when you're in the mind, your body's more in the sympathetic nervous system, which is more of a stress state. And so that's why it can feel quite confusing and chaotic to make a decision from that space. But when we relax the body and we come back into the balanced state of the nervous system, into the parasympathetic nervous system, we're able to open ourselves to receive this inner knowing. And you can almost hear, like you'll hear, it's like an inner voice that tells you, or a feeling that you get of what the best decision is for you at that time. Yeah.
It's so cool. And relating it to the nervous system as well, it's like the question and the answer are basically on two different frequencies, two different wavelengths. So when we're in the sympathetic nervous system, we're asking the question. We're saying, what is the right action? What direction is best for me to take? And then to receive the answer, we come into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where we're open and receptive to receiving the answer. And so many of us are living in the sympathetic nervous system, which is that low-level chronic stress state. And so we might be asking the questions, and the answers are knocking at the door, but it's like they can't get in.
Oh, I love that. That is so good. Yes. Yeah, and there's some really simple ways to get into the parasympathetic nervous system. One of the easiest ones is to connect with your breath. And so especially with your out breath, when you're connecting with your breath, your in-breath sort of activates the sympathetic nervous system, and then your exhale, longer exhale, you can even feel it. Your body starts to calm down. You go into a different state of, it's like probably even a different brainwave state, where your body's more relaxed and open to receive whatever that answer is. So that's a quick and easy way.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, and if you have a lot going on and it's like a decision that feels like there's a lot of pressure around it, sometimes you have to release that pressure first. Well, you have to release the feeling of pressure first before you can get into that relaxed, open state to receive.
Yeah, that's why it's so powerful. Some of the greatest inventors in history would be working away at trying to invent the next big thing, and would spend maybe days working on it, and then when they took a break, took a step away and had a shower, had a bath, there's tons of documented cases of the answers just popping in. It's like we work and we're trying to analyze and figure it all out, and the answers actually come when we're in that parasympathetic state, when we're in that open and receptive state to receiving the message. And it directly relates to the brain as well. So we have a left and a right side of our brains, and the left side is more analytical, more structure, more planning, and that's where a lot of us live. We live in the logical mind, like give me the facts, lay out the facts, pros and cons, factual based, all of that. But then we have this other side of the brain, the right brain, which is our center of creativity, our center of intuition, our center of connection to our higher knowing.
To our internal navigation system.
INS. Yeah, and so when we can release the need to be super logical and structured and planning, and we can take a breath, as you said, take a breath and relax and open to receive, then we can come into the right brain and the answers show up maybe when you're on a walk, maybe when you're relaxing, maybe when you're taking a nap. It's pretty incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love how you relate it to one side of the brain versus the other, and both sides of the brain are amazing. It's just this right side of the brain, a lot of us haven't explored very much, because in our society, you know, we grow up and we go to school straight away, and that's a lot of that is left brain thinking. And our creativity, when we're being creative or inspired by something artistic or an artistic expression, that's when we can flip into the right side of the brain. And I think for a lot of us, at least for myself, I was led to believe that I wasn't creative. So a lot of my life I was trying to be in this left side of my brain, but the right side, it's giving us access to like so much more information. It connects us, like you said, to that internal navigation system, which is infinite. And it connects us to our higher knowing. You may have heard the term higher self before. So when we're in our right brain, we're actually connected to our higher selves, and our higher selves, it sees things, that part of ourselves can see things from a higher view, kind of like a bird's eye view. And so it sees it beyond the ego, beyond the mind, where the mind is kind of trying to control things. When we get into the right brain, we see beyond the mind. And so then it's unobstructive, like it's an unobstructed view of what the best decision for us is at that time.
Yeah, it's so amazing. And the unobstructed view can sometimes not necessarily make logical sense. And that's the beauty of intuition, and that inner knowing is like allowing yourself to be guided by something higher than you. And it's so cool because for me, I never really believed in that stuff. And then coming into this work and discovering how to tap into that, it became like a little game. It was like, okay, this, you know, logically maybe one decision seems better than the other, but there's a feeling inside that is saying go this way, but it might not make sense. And so starting to play a game with it, starting to test out the waters with something small, test it out with something small and go with that feeling, go with what your body is saying and see how it goes. And then for me, I don't know about you, that's how I've built up that muscle of learning to trust that and learning to go with it, is by starting out as a curious exploration, starting out as a game. Because why not make life a game? We're here to play. We're here to experience, we're here to play. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Oh, and it's so brilliant. Like the more you do it, the more you connect in. It even helps with if you feel like you've lost something in your house, like your keys or whatever it might be. Lately, I've been playing with it as well, and have been able to say to myself, where is my such and such? and then I just allow my body to guide me, and I don't get into my mind about it, get frustrated or angry with myself for not knowing where it is. I leave that behind and I come into, I guess, the right side of the brain and allow my body, my internal navigation system, to guide me to where it is. And it's been bang on, like every single time. It's been, I'm like, oh, each time I'm like, yeah, it's working. So,
and that's developing that trust. And you develop that trust through this practice. And it reminds me of this book called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. And it's a really great one. He basically decides that from this point on in his life, every decision he makes, every move he makes forward, he's going to say yes to life. And really, like, often against what his mind or his ego wanted. And it's such a beautiful story. His life expands into things that he could have never anticipated, planned, or believed, because he went with what life was showing him. And so many of us get in our own way, me included. It's like analyzing everything to death, to the point where I'm exhausted. and then I don't even have that potential of connecting to that creative side, because I'm exhausted from being lost in the mind and running circles in my mind, the monkey mind.
That's like a brilliant way to know when you're not connected, because when we're connected to that inner knowing, we actually connected to an infinite flow of energy as well. This topic is so big, we could go in so many different directions, but yeah, like the bottom line is, like our body knows, there's an intelligence within our body that knows what the best decision is for us. And when we tap into that, life becomes a lot easier to navigate, and decisions become a lot easier to make, and important decisions, and so the mind, we just have to put that aside sometimes and come into the body and trust the body, that the body knows. And it's what it reminds me of is when we come into the body, we're able to sense, we're able to feel what is going on and what a certain direction feels like in comparison to the other. And what it brings up for me is recognizing whether I'm making a decision out of fear. So that's a big one. It's like when I'm able to relax my body, tune into my body, and feel into a question or a decision that I need to make, I can actually feel when I'm making a decision out of fear, I can feel some sensation in my body of tension or contraction or like a heaviness. It's like a visceral feeling. And for me, I aim to not make decisions out of fear in my life. I aim to make decisions that are going to allow me to expand. And so that's a real visceral reaction that you get in your body when you take a moment to tune in and are able to really sense into what's going on. Absolutely. Yeah, our body's speaking to us all the time, and it's always giving us feedback as to what is the best for us. And it's okay if you make a mistake. We made a video about mistakes before this one, and that's fine, right? That's how we learn. And in that mistake, you'll feel it. You'll be like, "Ooh, that didn't feel quite right," and that's your internal navigation system saying, "Not quite that one. Go the other way." And so then you get to try the other way and see how that feels. So, like Cassie said before, it's like really experimenting with it, and playing with it and getting acquainted with it and coming to understand it. And if big feelings are coming up or big triggers are coming up before making a decision, it's like really feeling into that feeling first and allowing that feeling to move. So don't ignore the feeling or squish it down. Really allow that feeling, that trigger to come through. And once you do, once the emotion's able to move, you can see things with a lot more clarity as well. So if you guys want a process on that, the last video that we did yesterday just goes through a process to help you to move emotion out of your body. Yeah, because we can make decisions through a cloudy lens or through a foggy lens when we're making decisions based out of any feeling from the past that's still in our body, whether that's fear or guilt or shame or whatever it is. We really want to be making clear decisions from us in the now and not through the lens of all of those things from the past. Absolutely. Or from what someone's telling us to do, or other people in our lives telling us what to do. And I mean, I've been there before, and I actually had a really cool experience recently to really anchor this in. I noticed that I was I wasn't connected to myself, and I was listening to what someone else was telling me to do, and I became so dissociated. I got really confused and felt really uncomfortable, and it's because I was listening to someone else's navigation system of what I was supposed to do. And my whole body reacted to it. I felt really confused, really lost, kind of scared. But as soon as I took some time and I allowed the emotion from that to release, and then I took some breaths, then I was reconnected to myself. And in that space, I was able to find my own answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just so empowering, right? Like we're really used to getting the answers from outside, and that's like a way of losing our power. And so to bring it back inside and connect with our inner knowing, our internal navigation system, our intuition, whatever you want to call it, is really empowering and makes for a lot more of a smooth life.
Yeah. It's so great, and it doesn't mean that you can't make decisions logically. It's just knowing that you can tap into that infinite wisdom and that guidance whenever something feels a little sticky or feels a little bit off. And for both of us, this concept of tuning into the body, connecting to the right brain, the creative connected center, is a practice. It is a practice because we've spoken about this a lot before. We go through life and we become so dissociated from our bodies because even starting school, it's like all about learning and memorizing and always, being up here and running around in circles in the mind. And so we often can lose that connection. And so it's a practice to continue to connect back to the body. It's a practice of coming back to your breath. It's a practice of taking 60 seconds each day and tuning into your body and starting that way, starting to tune in and really check in what sensations are going on in my body right now. How do I feel? Yeah. It's as easy as that.
As easy as 1, 2, 3. I really wanted to sing today, so I'm happy I got that out. And once you start connecting to your body, I mean, look at us. We're so happy because we're connecting to our bodies. We're connecting to the intelligence within, and it's the most beautiful journey that you can take, is to come back into your body and connect to yourself and really start to begin to trust in your own knowing, your own truth, and not rely on other people. So
it's so good,
so
good. And like we said earlier, it's hi Anne, Auntie Anne, hello. It's a practice, and so like coming in, tuning in, and playing a game with it. Like someone once told me, like, don't start off with the biggest decision you have to make as you're starting to tune in and play this game. They were like, start off with something small. Start off with like, I'm gonna go to dinner tonight somewhere. Where do I want to go? Like, start actually feeling in your body how it feels to make that decision, how it feels to have multiple options, and tuning in with each option and just tuning into your body. So just really making it a game. Like we've said, it really is a game. We're learning how to navigate this crazy, amazing thing that is life, and so we can have fun with it.
Why so serious?
That's another song, yes.
I mean, I've gotten really serious in my life, so I'm really coming back into my lightness and my joy again, because I've been connecting with my body and releasing all the emotions inside that need to be released, and then to laugh and giggle at life, is just such a blessing, and it helps all of this to land. It helps us to actually come back into our bodies because we feel safer, and then we can be really connected to ourselves and be able to navigate life much easier.
What a beautiful thing. So thank you guys for watching. We're happy.
We're so happy.
Let us know down below, like, how it feels to make a decision, how it feels to maybe tune into your body. What does that bring up for you? Like, I know for me, in the past, I wasn't exactly sure how to do it, and that's okay. It can be as easy as coming back to your breath.
Absolutely. You know what? Maybe we can do a little show next time on, like, if someone has a big question, then we can do a live and walk a person through a process.
Yeah.
Let's see how that wants to unravel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to open this up to you guys and walk you through a process of how to do this. So listening to the video and try and practicing it on your own, and then we can get online and do a little interactive live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Cool.
Sounds amazing. Well, yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
We'll see you soon. Thank you guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.